These are the sports we wished were real. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 fictional sports from movies and TV.
At this juncture, the odds of my winning this hand are less than 39 to 1.
For this list, we're considering only sports that aren't real, but have appeared in films or TV.
That's gotta hurt.
We're omitting the Hunger Games, though, since that isn't exactly a sport and more like a live-streaming death sentence meets a game show. So without further ado, let the games begin.
Finish it!
Number 10, Mokbara, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Giftal?
Yes, it is a very ancient Klingon ritual. It tests your knowledge of the forms of the Mukbara.
Even in the distant future, beating the shit out of people is still as popular as ever. This Klingon martial art can be practiced as a purely hand-to-hand combat sport, but can also involve weapons.
Tai Chi Chuan, it's called the crane block. Now let's try something else.
Based on a real martial art, expert Dan Curry was inspired by the fighting style of Tai Chi Chuan, but sped up all of its movements to make it more awesome and create Mokbara. This sport mainly appears in the background of The Next Generation, but we certainly wouldn't complain if we could see a bit more of it.
But perhaps next time you are judged unfairly, it will not take so many bruises for you to protest.
Number 9, Grand Prix or Speed Racing, Speed Racer.
Hey look, that's the Grand Prix Coliseum.
While auto racing exists in real life, it's safe to say we have nothing quite like the type of speed racing depicted in this sports action flick. Based on a manga series of the same name, this movie follows the adventures of a young man named Speed Racer.
Speed Racer's making his move, gunning for the lead.
Called Go Mifune in the Japanese version, he comes from a racing family and is desperate to become a racer himself, probably because his parents named him Speed Racer.
With a quarter lap to go, Speed Racer is back.
When Speed finally does make it to the big leagues, he discovers that the races are rigged.
They've known the winner of every Grand Prix for the past 50 years. It's always fixed.
Against great odds, Racer manages to win the race with his stylized racing car, and thanks to his car's many mods and handy gadgets, as well as the gravity-bending racetracks, the film offers up some really awesome race scenes. Number 8, Pokemon battles. Pokemon.
That's right, I am too weak to work, but a Pokemon battle isn't work.
It's everyone's favorite sports show about creatures being trapped in balls and made to fight each other by the humans who've captured them.
Why can't Mewtwo understand it's not right to force Pokemon to battle this way?
Though it started as a video game, the idea was so popular that it quickly got turned into an anime TV series, whose plot vaguely follows Ash as he trains to become a Pokemon master.
As always, Ash is determined to become a Pokemon master.
This includes pitting his Pokemon against all manner of strangely named creatures with various powers.
Pikachu, help Charizard!
The animated television battles are more free-flowing than the turn-based ones in the game, but they retain the same spirit and originality that have turned Pokemon into a major franchise both inside and outside of Japan.
You're not gonna get Pikachu!
Number 7, Light Cycle Match, Tron franchise.
Initiate light cycle battle.
After a game inventor is trapped in his own game, he's forced to take part in the light cycle matches.
We gotta work together! It's the only way!
These high-speed battles are used as martial games, in which those who resist the Master Control program are to fight to the death. Players try to trap their opponents between the trails that these futuristic two-wheeled bikes leave behind.
Watch it, watch it.
Just as dangerous as the light disc battles, these competitions between humanoid computer programs add layers of guile and cunning, as well as high-speed awesomeness to the Tron movies. Number 6, Rollerball. Rollerball is a dangerous sport. In fact, the goal-scoring game on roller skates puts the full into full contact. Players are encouraged to smash into their opponents as hard and fast as possible. Hell, some players even get motorbikes. But imagine that as soon as you get really good at the sport, as protagonist Jonathan does, the rules are changed to kill you.
How come everyone else is being asked to play with the no penalty rule and pressuring me to quit?
You see, the games are put on by evil corporations that are trying to show the futility of individualism. So, as soon as someone gets good at it, be careful, because rollerball can get real dangerous.
celebrate the 20th annual Transcontinental Road Race.
Number 5, Transcontinental Road Race, Death Race 2000. The premise of the Death Race is fairly simple. While it lacks Speed Racer speed, this game makes up for it in murder and destruction. The object, like any other race, is to cross the finish line before any of your competitors. But most races won't let you kill innocent bystanders, let alone encourage it.
All right, and yes sirree, a clean hit.
The fact that racers score points for running people over doesn't seem to diminish the enthusiasm of the fans either, even if some of them end up as unlucky points themselves.
Well, what does she expect? You leave your navigator lying around? Naturally, somebody's gonna run over him.
Then again, with plenty of dystopian camp, David Carradine in a gimp suit, and Sylvester Stallone as the bad guy, what's not to be a fan of here? Number 4, basketball.
I thought you said you didn't want us to play ball.
Do you like basketball but hate the exercise? Then you'll love basketball. The idea behind the game is simple. It's like basketball with baseball rules, and all the moving is replaced with heckling.
I want to feel you deep inside me.
The writers of South Park star in this film about two slackers who invent a sport for the lazy. Best part about this game is the great insults the participating athletes come up with.
Mother's a terrible cook.
Everything from your mom jokes to Eric Cartman impressions are fair game in this sport. Tell us something. Why does golf exist in real life but not this? Number 3, Pro Bending, The Legend of Korra.
Only one team stands in their way.
This sport, from the same universe as The Last Airbender, is all about territory and the elements. Using earthbending, firebending, and waterbending, the players try to take up as much space in the hexagonal ring as they can.
Wouldn't have guessed you knew the rules of pro bending.
Throwing all opponents out of the ring results in a direct knockout. And what are these highly skilled players called? Benders, of course. Okay, so it's not the coolest name out there.
Let this be a warning to all of you benders out there.
But this sport is still fun to watch and adds more entertainment to an already fantastic animated series.
Well, folks, it's a controversial call, but the Wolfbats notch a nasty knockout to win the match. For the 4th year in a row, they'll be crowned tournament champions.
Number 2, pod racing. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Has anybody ever seen a pod race?
The Phantom Menace may not have been the best movie in the Star Wars franchise. Actually, it's probably the worst.
No, Mrs. Stay. Misa caught Jar Jar Binks.
But its pod racing scene is still great. This high-speed race takes place on the desert planet of Tatooine between competitors in one-man flying machines.
Well, it looks like Quadraneros is having engine trouble also.
The event regularly leaves many of the participants dead, and the one we see in the 4th film of the Star Wars saga, or first in the prequel trilogy, is no different. This isn't exactly surprising, considering some of the competitors from this gangster planet don't exactly play fair. Yeah, we all saw you break that, you freaky lizard thing. Before we get to the greatest fictional sport of all time, here are some honorable mentions.
Basically, there's 3 grabbers, 3 taggers, 5 twig runners, and the player at whack-bat. The center tagger lights a pine cone, chucks it over the basket, and the whack-batter tries to hit the cedar stick off the cross rock.
Let's go! Everybody else, on my signal, prepare to throw.
Throw?
Number 1, Quidditch, Harry Potter franchise.
Come on now, hurry up.
We all know this awesome, entertaining, slightly confusing game played by witches and wizards on broomsticks.
Well, kids, welcome to the Quidditch World Cup.
Basically, players called chasers score goals by trying to throw a quaffle through air hoops. You with us so far? Then, there are beaters who try to make sure their teammates aren't hit by balls called bludgers by directing them at their opponents with the use of wooden bats. Meanwhile, the keeper defends the hoops, and the seeker has to catch the golden snitch. You got all that? One more thing. Everyone is flying around on broomsticks. Sure, the sport has its flaws. After all, the snitch is worth 150 points, and once you catch it, it pretty much makes everything else that happens entirely pointless.
The only thing I want you to worry about is this. The golden snitch.
But Quidditch also looks like mega fun, and all the rules won't stop us from watching it, and even wanting to try it if only we could.
He's got the snitch! Harry Potter receives 150 points for catching the snitch!
Gryffindor wins!
Do you agree with our list?
Open your eyes, Rep!
What fictional sports would you like to play the most? Pokemon! For more entertaining top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
You had passed the challenge.